Hi guys, today I'm going to continue my video series on how to prepare for the economic collapse. And today's subject is going to be food storage. But before I get into the details of food storage, I just want to tell you this saying that's familiar here in Texas, and I'm sure it might be in your parts. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you can't get fooled again. No, I'm just kidding. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Same thing with food storage. If you just store up all your food, you'll be eating today. But if you don't have a garden or if you can't produce your own food, you won't eat tomorrow. You can't eat for a lifetime. So you want to teach yourself gardening. I put a much higher emphasis on gardening and hunting than I do in food storage. Food storage is great for the short term. So anyway, without further ado, I just want to show you some things that we have put away for food storage. These are apples. This is about 10 apples dehydrated and we put in a food saver. I think we sprinkled some cinnamon on these things, and they are great to eat just dehydrated, and they're great as well if you hydrate them. Things like corn. This is about 3 pounds worth of corn with the moisture taken out of them, and this can feed you for a long time. It's a great way to put away vegetables. Also, you want to dehydrate things like carrots. Just about anything can be dehydrated that grows. Dehydrate as much as you can. It's probably one of the best ways that you can keep food for storage. And that includes, apologize, I got to grab some of the stuff, dehydrated milk. Even though this tastes like garbage, I understand it's still nutritious. It has a lot of nutritional content on the side of it, and all you need is water to rehydrate it. I'll do my water video later, by the way. Things like this, even though this is dog food, it's processed looking dog food. It's really chilly, but it's just garbage. It's trash food. It's nothing. This is like storing McDonald's. It's just garbage, and when you put this in your body, it's just going to make you tired. But it might be important to have some of this stuff, especially if you needed to supplement some of your other food with raw protein and fat, and that's pretty much all this garbage is protein and fat. Otherwise it has almost no nutritional value whatsoever. About $7 at Sam's Club. But the main thing I want to cover is staples. Wheat, beans, rice, and whole kernel corn that can either be sprouted or ground up into cornmeal. Sugar is very important to store as well, along with oats. I'll show you an example of some wheat that we're storing. Good Lord, that's heavy. This is about 50 pounds of wheat, sealed up in a Mylar sack to keep the critters out. Oxygen absorber is inside of here. There's plenty of videos telling you how to do this. I just wanted to cover that they do sell these huge sacks of Mylar that you can put in large size buckets or Rubbermaid containers, namely to keep the rats out and the mice out, because they can't gnaw through those containers very well, but they could easily get through these sacks. These sacks are ideal to keep weevils and bugs and stuff like that out of them. For your wheat and beans, it's also important to have a grain grinder. This is an electric grain grinder. This is where you want to spend your bucks because they have a bunch of crappy ones out there. I believe this one was close to, if memory serves, near $300. This is an electric version. I do have a mechanical version, but it's in a secret location. I didn't have it with me today. It's just a hand crank. I know, secret location, but I don't want to tell people where all my food storage caches are. But this would be fantastic if there's a depression scenario, we don't lose power. You can still grind your beans and wheat and things like that to make flours, and there's fantastic recipes on allrecipes.com for that. In a previous video, and I'll put the link up here in my information box, I talked a little bit about are you going to share your food storage with other people. And I mentioned that I was going to give people little care packages, and we like to call these bean balls at my house. And basically what it is this a big bag of dried beans and lentils and peas. And basically this is what I would hand people and tell them, look, you can have this so long as you promise never to come back to me for anything more, because I have 5 children and my wife to feed. And basically it's a big bag just stuffed with little packages of bean soups and things like that. And that could probably feed a family of 4 for about a month. Once you rehydrate those little beans, they expand a lot. and you can cook them up in a stew, and it's absolutely fantastic. Anything that you cook up that is in this sack just tastes fantastic. It's highly nutritious, and it's a great way to give people a care package. And then the objective is for them to basically leave you alone after that. You don't want them coming back to you, and you have to be sure if you give them anything that you tell them, look, you got to understand, that's it. I'm not giving you anything more than this. Don't come back to me for anything. Look them right in the eye, and you have to say that to them, because they will come back to you if they're hungry. Which unfortunately leads me to my next phase of food storage. You have to have something to defend your food storage with. I covered a firearms video, but one of the best things you can have is a 12 gauge shotgun. Sure, there's better, sure, there's worse. 12 gauge is very general. Not many people argue with this. This is a Mossberg 500 12 gauge. Very simple, very common shotgun. So to go along with your food storage, something that can immediately put food on your table as well is a pellet gun. And I get a lot of hell for a pellet gun, and I don't know why. You can hunt all day long with a pellet gun. Not one of your neighbors are going to know about it. And you can take down squirrels and birds, rabbits, and small varmints all day long. The ammo's dirt cheap, and you can supplement your food storage with these animals. For instance, if you're making a pot of pinto beans in a solar oven, and I'll show that in another video. You can add squirrel meat or crow meat to this thing, and you will have some form of protein going in with these beans, and a little bit of fat which will absorb into the beans and soften them up as they cook. And you don't have to take your Mossberg 500 outside and blow the living hell out of a finch, where there will be absolutely no meat left with what little there is anyway. But a pellet gun, you just take it down. You can take down a crow, and you won't have any trouble just with neighbors or police coming to your house. It's a great way to supplement your food storage. So anyway, that's my basic general synopsis of food storage. I'll get more heavy into nutrition later on, because nutrition is an extremely important thing to have during the economic collapse. You don't want to be worn out. You don't want to be tired. So anyhow, I'll continue that part in another video, but we each have our own situation with food storage. This is a general synopsis, certainly not complete, but like I said, I want to cover gardening a lot heavier later on, because if you provide your own food, then you don't have to worry about food storage as much. So anyway, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you around. Thanks.